Testing, and let's go. All right, guys, so we're going to go ahead and create chair. So what we want to do is I want to use very simple primitives and show you how we get really high definition looking things using extrude, lathe, component mode, and object mode. So we're going to go ahead and select on this cube, and we're going to go ahead and get a basic cube. What we want to do is just scale it a little bit so it's a little bit scaled from the middle, so we can get it a little bit smaller there. And I can go ahead, while I'm in the move tool, I can go ahead and scale it from here. Now, you're going to see me now work really close, so you're not going to see me go back and forth up here and back here. So I'm going to be using, you know, move, rotate, and scale from here, from my little keyboard. So I'm going to say, you know, E to move. So whenever I want to move something, I'll just hit E. And then if I wanted to rotate, I'll be using my R. So E, R, and T. So E, R, and T. So here we go. So I'm going to go ahead. I like this shape. I'm going to go ahead and make sure just to round it off. I'm just going to say 60 and 60 right here. So now it looks good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this and try to get an L shape. So I'm going to go from the top view, and I'm going to go ahead and say Control C, Control V. Now that copies, right? I have another copy. How do I know? It's right there. Here I can't tell, but it's right there. Now I want to go ahead and rotate this. Now remember how we said we can rotate using the rotate tool, and I could go ahead and rotate freely and then type it in here. You could also do something really cool. If you hold down the shift key, you can actually rotate in increments. Do you guys see that? And it actually gives you the increments. And now, pop, it slaps and it's right there on 90. Okay, so I know exactly now it's perfectly there because I held the shift key. It's kind of like Photoshop. And all I want to do now is move it. I'm going to hit E to move, E. And then I'm going to go ahead and move it down. And then move it to the side to make an L shape right there. Okay, everybody with me? So we just made a nice L shape. Next, we're going to go ahead and select both these objects and Control C and Control V. And then we're going to go ahead and rotate R. So we're going to rotate, hold the shift key, and rotate that kind of like upside down. So I'm looking at the numbers. Do you guys see the numbers there? So I'm going to keep rotating until I get 180. Because I'm holding the shift key, I know I'm not going into fractions, right? It's precise, I mean, it's whole numbers. So then I'm going to go ahead and use my E to move, and I'm going to go ahead and move it so I get an object that looks something like that. And I want to go in and make sure that it's exactly on it. You don't have to, but it's good to kind of be clean and get your thing looking like that. All right, so now I'm taking a look at this. You can actually zoom in if you have, you know, kind of hesitant hands or stuff like that, but you just want something basic there. So now that we got that look, I want to take a look at what it looks like here. So this is the base of where the chair is. We're going to go ahead and create legs, and I got to close it because right now it's in, you know, there's a gap there. So I can go through it, nothing happens, right? So you'll fall down. So I want to close this gap. Now I can close this gap many ways. I can just select another object, any object, it doesn't matter what, and I can Control C, Control V. So now I've duplicated that. I can go ahead and move that object, and just to make sure I move it properly and scale it properly, I can also scale it again. So let's go ahead and do it from the top view. So I want to be precise to know exactly what I'm doing. So I want to scale it from here. You see the dot? So I'm selecting the dot so I can scale properly this way. I want to just fill in the gap. And I could go ahead and scale that way and then move it. I can do that, or remember guys, I said I wanted to show you things, how you can do multiple things at the same time in a different way. I can do that, or I can do something really cool. I can start getting into component mode, okay? So all these things we've been doing is object mode. I can select this face and actually move the face instead of moving this entire object and trying to fill it in. Since I like the location of that object, watch what's going to happen. I want to select that face. How do I select that face? It's really easy. This is called object mode. You're in object mode right now, right? If you want to make this active so you can actually select, or editable, so you can actually select its face, just turn it on. Turn make editable on, editable. So now I have face, I have corner edge, and I have points. I can select anything I want. I can select the points, I can select the edge, or I can select the face, right? So what I want to do is I want to select the face. So I'm going to click on the face, and I'm going to move. What's my move key? Is E. Very good. So now I'm going to go ahead and use only the blue, because I don't want to move it sideways. I just want to make sure it's on the blue and I'm moving it. See how easy that is? So I can go ahead and move that. I want to make sure I'm moving correctly. I can go ahead and go there and tumble around, see if I'm doing it correctly. Or I can go ahead and go into my top view and make sure that, and that's why you use your orthographic views, your top, front, and side, to make sure that it's actually covered. So now when I'm here, I can see that I have a place where the person can sit and rest as we go. So now I've used my component mode. Right now it's kind of hard and kind of flat. Maybe I want to do a little cushion where, you know, you can sit down there and it's not too hard on the bottom. So we want to give it like a nice kind of dip. Maybe it's a nice cushiony area. So now that I've done that, what I could do is I can go ahead and go and check out my points. How are my points doing? So there's my points right there. Let's say I want to add the dip. Now I'm not seeing any points right here. I wish I had a point right here. Why? Because if I had a point right here, I can take that and push it down and make a nice cushion. But I don't have a point here. And you're going to come across your models like, oh, I wish I had a point here. Well, there's many ways you can add a point right here. Here's an easy way to do it. I'm going to go ahead and cut it like a knife. You know when you have pizza and you're cutting? I'm going to go ahead and make a pizza out of this, right? So I'm going to cut it. So I'm going to first select the face that I'm going to cut. So I'm going to go back to face. This is face. And I'm going to select the face that I want to cut. I want to cut that. If I want to cut all the way through, then I'll select everything. I'll go down and select the bottom one. But right now, I just want this one right here. See how it turns orange? Anything that turns orange indicates to you that it's active, it's on. Now I need my knife tool. If you right mouse click on top of that, you're going to find the knife tool. Okay? Remember, K is silent for those who forgot. Okay. So a knife tool. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the edge and I'm going to click on that point and I'm going to go ahead and go to this edge and click on that. So now I kind of cut it right there in half. But I want to cut it again so I can have a point right here. Remember, whenever two lines meet, they create a point. So I'm going to go ahead and go to this point. See that point right there? I'm going to click on it. And then it's going to give me a nice line. Where do you want to cut? You want to cut like this? No. This would make the point right here. Do I want to cut like here? No, no. I'm just going to go all the way to the edge and just cut right here. There we go. I'm done. Now, if I go to my points, you see how there's a new point born right there? I can go ahead and select that point by just clicking on it. And remember, you can use your select tool. So you can select the tool to actually pick it right there. Remember, this is select, this is select and drag, and there's two, this is the lasso tool, and so on and so forth. So make sure you select is right there, move, rotate, move, scale, and rotate. Okay, so I've selected my point. Watch this. I'm going to go ahead and make a cushion. I'm going to go ahead and push it down. So I'm using my move tool, E. I'm going to push it down. So now I can just do a quick render just to see what that looks like. And for now, it looks okay. All right. So there's a cushion right there. So my client or whatever can actually sit down. And if you look at it in the side view, you can see how much cushion that is. And then later on, you can smooth that so it's really round if you want to. You can make it really as smooth as you want. Right now, I just want an indentation in there to get that going. All right. So next is to do the legs. So to do the legs, we're going to use a different tool. But what I want to do is I want to go ahead and do this first so everybody can take notes, and then we could go ahead and have you guys try to do the base with the chair. Okay, any questions before I start again? Anybody, any questions at all? Okay, let's go ahead and do this again. So get ready to take notes. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the video and